Welcome back to the Art and Science of Real Estate Negotiation podcast. It's Tom Zeeb with Traction Real Estate Mentors. Very happy today to introduce to you a dynamic duo, a great couple of awesome investors. It is Frank and Laurie Woods. Hi, guys.
How you doing, Tom?
Hey, Tom.
How are you?
We're doing well, enjoying ourselves. Just came back from a holiday weekend, so we're having fun.
Fantastic. Well, look, I want to talk about your real estate journey, the deals you've done, and kind of dig in and get a lot of details out there for people to learn from. Does that sound cool?
Sounds great.
Awesome. So I'm going to start by, let's turn the clock back. Go back to where you used to be, kind of before you really got into real estate investing, before you met me. What were things like? What was business and life?
We didn't get into real estate until maybe 4 years ago. Prior to that, we had corporate jobs. So we would do the 40, 50 hour a week job and come home and enjoy a little bit of time on the weekends and then go back on Mondays. And that was our life for 35 years.
Well, and then also our family has history of owning real estate, and we knew at some point we wanted to do that. 5 years ago, actually, tomorrow, maybe in a couple days, we lost my dad, unfortunately. And so he lives in Chicago, and I was going back and forth during that time that he was sick for 9 months. And after everything was over, was, of course, sad and everything, we were able to clean out his house, do a couple repairs. My brother helped us with that. And then we sold the house. And we're like, hey, we work pretty good together. It's a good time for us to look deeper into getting into real estate. Yeah. And so we had something that came in the mail to give us a free insight on real estate in Nashville. And we were already moved here. We already lived here. And so that's where it started.
One of the things, that particular program, not so good, but it got us started, but it opened us up into the whole world of real estate and encouraged us to seek out our local real estate investment group. So we joined that and have really gotten a lot of education and training and met tons of people that have helped us grow quite a bit.
Excellent. Now that's interesting because a lot of people have that exact fear. They go, oh, this can't be real. If it were that easy, everybody would do it. Oh, as seen on TV. And it doesn't have a real feel to it. So why did you take action on something you got in the mail?
We just had just a gut feel that there was an opportunity here that we're smart people. We should be able to make this work. Just have to put in a little bit of effort into it. And Laurie will tell you, once we committed to it, she didn't sleep for a week.
It was, oh my gosh, it was just so hard for me to get over that hump. And so once I was able to do that, it went smoother. And actually participating in the events and the meetings with REN, Real Estate Investors of Nashville, it made a huge difference. So there was support. There was a lot of people that I can actually talk to in real time and get examples and really help us get through the unknown, and to keep us motivated and to keep us going in the direction we wanted to.
And I'll actually say, Laurie volunteered to be on the board, and she's been on the REIA board for 2 years now. And she runs two small subgroups. She just got back this morning from a ladies in REN group that she has the fourth Tuesday of the month. And then we do one for the county, a lunch group. So we get out there and try to talk to other people, meet other people, and bring them into the business.
And how has that helped you guys? It's showing what's possible. Is it the network? Is it the community? What is it about all that that's helping you so much?
Well, what I like about it is it makes us more valuable as investors, because if we're not able to purchase a house, or if we don't like the deal, it doesn't fit into our criteria, we'll know somebody that does, or we'll find somebody that does. So we're able to help that person that is perhaps in a tough spot with their credit, or they have to move for whatever reason, and it's something that it's really important to them. We'll find a way to help them solve their problem or leave them with value. So I have a great source of people that are my preferred vendors that I can lean on to help us finalize a deal.
Yeah, the other side of the coin is the accountability. If you're the one leading these groups, you're going to push yourselves to, you're going to be standing in front of some group of people every month. You don't want to be there saying like, well, nothing worked. You push yourself to try to get some things. Hey, what's new? And you want to have, here's what's new. This is what we just did in the last month.
Well, we've also gone into some deals with people from Red. And we're looking to do more. You know, you can joint venture, you can perhaps pass on a deal or invest in someone else's deal. So, for example, for Frank's IRA, he's investing in somebody else's deal and then they can invest in ours, staying with the IRA rules. So
Absolutely.
they're limited, but so you're able to work it for both people.
That works.
I like that.
Wow. So the group, the communities helped you move ahead. You said at the beginning there was you described it as a hump or a bump that just something that just kind of, if you had a sinking feeling for a week, I bet you're not the only one with that. So kind of describe what that was. What was the initial issue?
Well, it was just the feeling of not having control. You put your money, for some reason, putting it in the money market or putting it, investing it in the market seemed to be something that we've always done. So it was comfortable. But putting it in the real estate market, oh my gosh, what happens if, just too many risks I felt. And I just didn't feel that I was in control. I mean, it's kind of silly because you're not really in control of the market either. But it just was something that I was not familiar with. So that was the problem, and that it was so much money all at one time. I think that was probably what made me feel uncomfortable. But when I went to meetings, we went to meetings together at Ren, we're talking with other couples or other individuals or young people that are involved in it. And they're just starting out, or they are enders, as they say, enders, where they've had their career of investing in real estate. And now they come back for the socialization of Ren, and then also to help other people and give back. And so that's where we've felt a lot of value.
Yeah.
And so that's what made me more comfortable, is just talking and sharing and feeling that others had the same thoughts and concerns made me feel like, okay, if they were able to make it through the weeds, then I can too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What's done better for you so far, Laurie? Stock market or real estate?
Real estate.
I actually dabbled in the market too during this time, and I'm not dabbling in the market anymore.
Interesting.
It beat me.
Gotcha. It's funny because a lot of people say, oh, you feel like there's more movement in stocks. It's arguably faster, but it's not necessarily bigger, is it?
No, it's a lot riskier. Definitely.
Define that risk now that you've been on both sides of the coin, Frank.
There's always risks in houses, but you can control it a little bit more. You know what you're getting into to some extent. There might be, you might have missed the foundation, which is a big expense, or a roof, which is a big expense.
You only do that once.
Yeah.
But you catch on it. And with the market, what you don't have a crystal ball to see what's going to happen next week. And all of a sudden, some economic thing, and you get a big crash and you see thousands of dollars going the wrong way. And at least with a purchase on properties, you can kind of see it. It moves a little slower, but it's, for the most part, it's always growing. The opportunity of the home is going up in value a lot more than a stock market.
Yeah. So you're saying you guys don't miss your corporate lives?
I still have a little corporate life that I'm trying to miss more. I haven't quite cut that cord yet. But Laurie's full-time and I'm about a 50% investor.
Yep.
And then I make up the other 50% on nights and weekends.
Any regrets, Laurie, since you're 100% real estate?
No regrets. It's kind of controversial in the investment world to get your real estate license. Some say it's good, some say it's not so good. They say, well, then you're more accountable. Well, I'm not going to do the wrong thing. I want people to feel that they can trust me. And so in any case, I'm an investor agent. I'm an investor first and then an agent second. So I got my license a couple of years ago just so that I could list my flips. And I do have and will help family and friends along the way as a realtor. Certainly that helps fill in the gaps when we're between projects. But I really do not regret going in the direction I did. A lot of praying to go through that testing and everything, because it's been a long time since I've been in school. But I really do think that it was the right thing.
Let's talk more about that because I think a lot of investors, they come up on that choice and it's like, wow, should I become a licensed agent? But wait a minute, I really want to be an investor. But oh, well, the agents say that their way is the only way, and you've managed to walk both paths. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, so the reason why I think it's a really great idea is because once we complete a flip, then I'm able to take the listing side of the commission. And what's good about that is that we can list our flips like just a hair under market and get it off the market as quickly as we can. And then we get the commission, and that's part of the deal. So I really like being able to do that. I do feel I'm a little salty. Early on, we had we had one agent that I feel just wanted to get the job done and really didn't go to bat for us. Looking back now, we should have not done the first deal that we did. We should have, because we had a problem with the foundation, and our agent just said, oh, no, they could get it done fast enough that we could still close on time. Well, we lost $10,000 of profit in that last week because the inspector was late getting his report back to us, and we still wanted to close on time. We should have delayed the closing. We should have maybe even, if we had to, even do the fix and maybe put it back on the market a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Or ask for some sort of concession. There were other things that we could have done. So in any case, that was one example of where we felt that we were not in control over certain things. And so I'm like, no, no more. I'm just going to get my license, and then, we can take care of that side of the business. So I feel that it's done well for us in the last couple of years where I've been able to be on the listing side. And so it's been good. And it also gives me, with my license, I also have access to the MLS. So I have prospecting abilities that I know some of these software programs say that they tap into the MLS, and maybe they do, but I think that maybe they are a little bit delayed or maybe don't have all the information that they should. But I feel that I'm connected a little bit more having that ability.
Gotcha. Well, that's all on the benefit side. Are there any drawbacks? Have you come up against any obstacles or hurdles because of it?
Well, I think that it's hard to concentrate on both sides of the business. So concentrate on being an investor, concentrate on being a realtor. So I really, sometimes I have to, if there's training or if there's a meeting that I want to go to that conflicts with both sides of what I do, I have to kind of think, okay, what's more important? So I guess it's a minor thing, I suppose. Maybe it's a good problem to have, but that's kind of an issue. However, I do know many investor agents, and so we're able to collaborate based on having those skills in a combination or in that connects us. So
when we initially met, what was it that attracted you into my program?
I had seen you had jumped onto somebody else's training. I don't know if I'll throw the name out here, but Alan Cowgill was
Chicago. Yep.
doing a training, and he had put up 90 minutes or something for you to come in. And I was excited about your energy and the way you talked about negotiating. And negotiating has been, I think, a weak point in our investment business. We've been able to, go through the other steps, but when we kind of get in front of people, we cave a little bit and we don't necessarily push the numbers to our benefit more. And so we've been working on that.
Well, what I really like is we read your book, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, but it's about negotiating. And I really like the steps that you have in the negotiation process. And I've used it numerous times, and it made me feel good that I got I'm armored now. I've got something in my tool belt to use. I have the right questions to ask. And I feel that it makes me look like I've got experience. So I really like having that skill, and I practice it a lot. So.
Good. Some structure and definition to a negotiation process, which you're not alone. Most people it's not taught in school. So people feel when they get in negotiations, it's just uncomfortable for most people. But when you can break it down and have a path to follow with steps along the way to find out, it's easier to go through the process, and then it just becomes part of you because it's no longer strange anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we're just coming out of a holiday weekend. We went and looked at FSBO, for sale by owner home, that Laurie had saw trying to do the driving by deal. She came across this one. We scheduled time that went to see him.
We have deal machine, so I like that too.
I'm sorry, deal machine. Program. And they are out of state owners. This was a house that was her parents, she grew up in, and fully paid off. We haven't closed on it yet, but we engaged with them. We found out, what they were looking for. They said they had never thought about doing payments. And so I offered that suggestion to them. So we got in the car, we drove 4 hours to where we were going to be enjoying ourselves for the weekend. And in the hotel room, we put together the 3 offers, sent them over to them. It was late at night that night. And the next morning they said, hey, we got a couple of others we're considering. We haven't heard back yet, but we'll see if we get it. We'll get a good price, or we'll get something on payments that'll, rent should cover it. Wouldn't have known some of that stuff without the training that we've had.
Well, also too, they have some experience in selling houses, apparently. I don't know the extent of it, but so I asked him, I'm like, how did you come to that? How did you get that number? And, he's just like, well, I have experience. And I'm like, okay, so your number, and he had it on a flyer, and I'm like, it's 414, honey. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So I could still learn how to flinch a little bit better.
Flinching, yeah. I could say that's the flinch, if anyone's wondering. It's like probably my all-time favorite technique.
Yeah. But I really like that, and it just opens a conversation, and I felt confident during that negotiation. So.
Well, good. You're confident. Tell me about your confidence. It's grown as you're negotiating with somebody. I mean, do you flinch now at numbers, and does it feel strange, awkward, or does it start to come across natural?
No, I think it's more natural. And I think what helps is that I have to separate the emotion from it. And that was another big hurdle alongside. It's just as big as getting into the business at first, separating myself emotionally and thinking of the houses as just inventory was a big deal.
Okay.
So I feel that I'm getting to that point, or I've really made a big stride in having the properties be inventory and not take an emotional toll on me. So
I don't think you're the only one that thinks that way, Laurie. Let's dig into that one a little bit more. How is it that you feel emotional about the property, and how does that block you or affect you from being able to do the deal?
Well, I have to look at it as, do I want to live here? And if I lived here, what would I want it to look like? And how good would I want it to be? I kind of moved past that a little more so, but then we get to the point where I want to fix everything. And you can over renovate. And I know you've talked about this. So you have to think about what's in your budget, and you have to stay with your budget. And so that's gotten us into trouble. So we really have to watch that. We have to get our list together, and we have to just check them off, and that's it. Like, no more renovation. Or we have to, if we really want to do a specific thing, then we have to take something else off the list. So we have to, for me anyway, I have to learn better. Frank is much better at that than I am. He's so much like, I'm just like, sometimes I just want to tear it all down. And he's like, well, no.
Every house we start, we got to tear this down.
He said, no, you can renovate that. And I'm like, no, we tear it down, tear it down. So, just because I wanted to look good, I feel it's our reputation. But at the same point, it has to be a good business decision. And that's where I'm going with things that I have difficulty with. I'm like, okay, it can't be emotional. What is a good business decision in this situation? So that's what I use for my lead. And that's the questions that I ask myself.
And you've been primarily using rehabbing as your exit strategy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't wholesaled yet, and we'd like to have the opportunity, but there's just not a lot of inventory coming through past our desks to make that option, have that option.
That's fine. If you're happy rehabbing, you happy rehabbing. Like I say, I think people get obsessed about exit strategy when it's all the same in the end. You have to market to find them, you got to negotiate to make them, you got to know how to get paid. So then you choose, I get paid wholesale, I get paid rehabbing, flipping, do I get paid buying and holding? But the inbound's the same. So you guys are set to be able to do anything when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, we have one rental that we've had for over a year, and we're renovating our second rental that we purchased through our IRA. hopefully 3 or 4 weeks, we're gonna put that out to get tenants. We had to work with the city planning and zoning because the way this was set up, the person had a garage that he converted into a 2-bedroom home, but he didn't permit it. And so he's got a 3-bedroom house with a detached garage in the back. And we had to work with the city, denied us to put in two rentals. So we're just gonna make it a mother-in-law rental and extra bedroom. There's a lot of multi-family, multi-generational families in the area, I think, that will take advantage of that.
It'll be attractive to it. I remember we talked about that on one of the student coaching calls. That's the resolution. Well, that works.
And, you know, as far as our very first flip that we did, Laurie was actively going after pre-foreclosure lists, getting in the car and driving around the neighborhoods and knocking on the doors. And we knocked on the door of one person
Yeah,
a couple days before Christmas.
yeah,
They were gonna go into foreclosure January 2nd. And so desperate seller, we were able to negotiate a really good buy and closed on it before January 2nd. And that was our first purchase. It took us like 7 months to finish.
Yeah.
But we learned as we went. We had no contractors in the pipeline and nothing. So we learned.
but it was a great experience because we were able to help this lady. She literally, I don't know what she would have done. Her credit would have been ruined if she let them foreclose on the house, and she didn't know where she was going to go. And so since we were able to purchase her house, she was able to keep her credit, and she moved down the street and rented an apartment down the street. She was happy. She didn't have to pay what was owed on the house, and she was able to move, and she just took what she wanted and left the rest.
Interesting. Now, people think of us as big bad investors. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a big bad investor to me.
No, no. I mean, I sat with her for a long time and talked with her and said, hey, how did we get here?
Yeah.
How can I help you? What do you need? And she was just so almost kind of emotional because somebody actually took the time to talk with her. She had somebody else that said wanted to purchase her house from her church. And then a few days before they were going to close, he backed out. And she goes, now what am I going to do? They're going to foreclose on me. And he backed out, and he was from church. Like, I'm going to see him, every week. And she says, I don't know what I'm going to do. So we were able to work it out, and she was just very happy that it worked. And so were we.
And then about a year later, we met her son and daughter-in-law at the gym we were going to. Yeah, happened to have the same last name, put 2 and 2 together, and you don't burn bridges. You don't treat people poorly. You treat them all with respect, and you never know when you're going to cross the bridge with somebody else in that circle. And so we try to do that. Then we had kind of another unique way that we marketed that I don't know if a lot of people do, but Laurie had gone out to some of the pawn shops and put some of our bandit signs in the pawn shops. And we've gotten 2 houses from people that are going in there trying to get cash for something. It's like, well, you can get a lot of cash if you are willing to sell your house. So that a rental was that way, and we got a flip from that too.
Nice. Strategically placed bandit signs. Bandit signs are one of those frustrating things in marketing because they work, but they don't work every day and they don't work consistently. But if you're consistent with them, you're going to get those good ones that pop up now and then. And that's the key.
Yeah. And the current rental that we're fixing up right now, we got the bandit sign magnets on our truck.
Nice.
The guy was in the business, but he was moving from Tennessee to Kentucky and wanted to get out of his house. He also has like 9 other rentals in the area. So we're working with him to try to persuade him to unload those to us as well. But yeah, he saw our truck driving, gave us a call, and we were able to work out a deal with him. Nice.
Now, I want to go back. The previous deal you were talking about, right before Christmas, you knocked on the woman's door. Is that how you found it?
I did. And I made a rule that I wouldn't door knock when it got dark. This is the very last one. And
It'll be a smart rule.
Yeah. Yeah. If we live in Tennessee, I don't want to get shot.
Yeah.
So I knocked on the door. It was like 4:30, again, around Christmas time. So it was starting to get dark at that point. And I'm just like, it's brick. It's in a nice neighborhood. I'm like, yeah, I got to stop. So I knocked on her door, and she's just like, well, yeah, I do want to sell my house. And she told me that she's got somebody coming in. She had somebody else, not the church guy, but another guy that was going to come over and make an offer. And I said, you know what? Keep your appointment with him. It's your benefit to get his offer and get mine. The only thing that I ask is that you allow me to counter offer his offer. And she's just like, yeah. I said, you have nothing to lose. You
Yeah.
get two options to get your house purchased. You're going to foreclose on. You're going to get foreclosed on. So you might as well look at all your options, right? And so she's like, yeah, that's right, you know. And so she called me with his offer and we talked about it. I'm like, can we go higher? And he's like, yeah, we could go higher. So we went like $2,000 higher or so. And she's just like, yes, you know, come over and let's take care of the details. So, and it was great. I was just like, yeah, I was doing the happy dance. I'm like, what? Right before Christmas. But it was really great that we were able to save her too. That was really the big point. She just looked desperate. She was just distraught and you could see the light was out of her eyes and she needed help. So that was really a good gift, a good Christmas gift.
But wait a minute, yeah, for a great Christmas gift for both of you. Wait a minute, isn't it a little bit nerve-wracking to knock on a door and talk to a seller who hasn't contacted you first?
A little bit, but it was the end of the day. And I'm looking at this list and I'm like, you know what? This lady is going to be foreclosed on in January.
Yeah.
She doesn't have her house sold already. She needs me
Yes.
because literally days away. Okay. And so I think it was 10, 12 days maybe or something like that before she was going to be foreclosed on and we were able to get the contract signed and take care of it. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, sure, it's a little nerve-wracking, but you know what? I was hungry for a deal and it worked.
Laurie was motivated that she was absolutely going to get her first deal before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Started like in October and going a couple of days a week door knocking, and
Yep.
it's like, oh, this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen. And then, you know, you never know when that right door opens.
Yeah.
And then we ended up selling this house. We got it under contract a month before we were done renovating it by just putting a coming soon sign in front. And, you know, people driving through the neighborhood see the progress. It's in a nice neighborhood and there were a lot of people wanting to get in.
It's kind of all the simple solutions that work. Actually knock on the door, pull a list, knock on the doors, drive around looking for the properties, put a sign out front saying it's coming soon, almost done, and it works. But why does it work for you guys? Are you extra special? I mean, you're both special people, but come on. Are you extra special, any more special than anyone else who doesn't quite believe that it's going to happen for them?
Persistence.
Yeah, it just takes
Persistence, you know, it's a numbers game, like you say, and the experienced investors say it truly is a numbers game and persistence. I was talking with the people from Ren and how they were successful and they're just like, just keep going. You could do it. You could do it. And so having that behind me, I was empowered and it felt great to be able to get that done before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Our recent renovation, we just closed Thursday on the house and we bought like a double lot and we were able to work with city planning and zoning to split it. We did that before we started the renovation. And now that we just closed, we were waiting to roll our capital over into the new build. And I'm also a general contractor. I have not built from the ground up, but I don't know if you had seen, we just got our building permit approved today. We'll start the new construction loan. We just have to get the bank person to give us the construction loan, but we'll work with the same contact we had with the renovation and we'll hopefully start on that one in the next couple weeks.
Nice. Yeah.
Very nice. So here's an interesting question. I'm sure people wonder, yeah, husband and wife team, what's it like working together as a couple?
I love it. We get along well, so that helps. I think next week it's 36-year anniversary, so we've been around a while.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of stuff together, but we also have different things that we focus on. Laurie is the negotiator. She's the salesperson that gets out there and does that. I'm kind of more of the, you know, follow up and make sure the work gets done thing. And I'm the numbers guy, you know, so we have different roles, but we come together and we're both mutually, you know, making a legacy for ourselves.
Well, also too, we raised 5 children, so we figured we were able to do that. We built a pretty, you know, strong foundation for our family, so we figured we can do it as a business. So that's what we're doing.
Very nice. So what do you see as the changes? What's been the biggest changes that you've gotten out of the Total Traction program? I mean, you talked a little bit about negotiation and confidence, which is a great kind of side effect of negotiation, but what else? What's changed as a result of my training?
I actually like the 2-3 minute video clips because sometimes you get a little stale on your motivation and you see those pop up and it's like, okay, I can get up and do this today, and you move on towards something else. So I like those aspects.
Well, also too, I like when you're on location, I think you were snorkeling or something and you did some training while you're in the water, I'm like, he's in the water and he's doing the training. So and yeah, I think that really keeps my interest. And, lots of times there's so many trainings that come through either realtor or investor, this, whatever. I always look at yours because I know it's quick and I'm going to learn something. So I really appreciate that. You really know what works and what's effective.
Yeah, and I know our other big marketing strategy that we work towards is we're trying to target the senior demographics. So people are no longer able to stay in their homes and are looking to transition into a senior care facility that they would go to. And so Laurie volunteers at a number of them to get her name out there. So if there's somebody that's coming up, she sews at two of the centers once a month, but each one of them, and does a great job with that. But we go to a lot of the senior service events, veteran benefits or whatever, and just trying to get into the network of them, let them know what we do. We're real estate investors. We're trying to help people turn their equity into long-term care. I know you guys had a training of a lady that had some small senior living centers that they were developing. We're not looking to do that right now, but we're looking to help as they need somebody to move in, fill those spots. Many times they're selling a home that's fully paid off, that hasn't been renovated in a while, that may have a lot of treasures in it. And, we want to come in there and help them. We have a lot of information that we've gathered, a lot of contacts in the senior industry we have contacts with elder care attorneys and financial people and placement people and benefits folks. So once we get in, we start talking to the network, we can help, work that lead. It may take months to work that lead into, I'm ready to sell the house. And we can help guide them into, other people who specialize in their own swim lanes. And we all went out of that.
Well, we also like to work with the adult children. So back to when my dad passed away, I was the out-of-state daughter. So we could work well with those that are out of state that have their own families and they're not able to worry about the house. So we worry about the house so that family can worry about family. And we ease the burden of having to pay for those high costs of expenses for senior care. And by purchasing the house as is, no repairs and no clean out is needed. They only take what they need, which is not much because unless the family needs something, because when they go to senior care, there's not a lot of space that they can, put something. So we do have specialists that help with the moving, the clutter, the moving, and then the unpacking and placing their items specifically. So that actually, we helped move my mom into senior care. And so we did have a professional that was able to pack her up, move her, and unpack her. It was the easiest move she ever had. So we try to do that. We try to make it easy and smooth and stress-free for the family, for everybody.
Which becomes a big benefit of working with you. So it's as part of the package you're putting together to solve people's house problems, you're also making it very easy in the process. And do you think that makes people more likely to say yes to you?
Yes, I would like to think so, because that is usually often a roadblock for people to move into senior care where they really need the care. People say, well, what's going to happen with all my stuff? Or who's going to move it? How am I going to get my house sold? There's holes in the walls, or there's problems with the plumbing, or the roof is terrible. No one's going to want to buy it. I can't fix it up. My kids are out of state. They're not going to want to take care of it. Then they're fighting over what are they going to do? The people that are out of state, they say, oh, fix it up. You could fix it up and sell it for market value. And the ones that are actually doing it, they're like, are you kidding? Like, I work full time. How am I going to be able to?
I got three kids. I'm chasing after this. And
yeah, but we take care of that.
Yeah. You just say problem solved. We'll take care of everything and make it easy for you.
We'll lay out you could do it yourself cost and timeline for them as an option. It's like, yeah, you could do all this, and it might take you 6 months before you actually get a check in your hand. And how's mom doing in those 6 months? And usually when they go into senior living, So you don't have a long time to go. I mean, otherwise they'd still stay in their home. And so do you want to spend quality time with mom, or do you want to be worried about fixing up the house and getting bids with contractors, and every time there's a showing, moving, having to take her out of the house so that people could walk through? Or work with us and we'll close whenever you're ready in 2 weeks or whenever you need to. And you won't have to worry about a thing. We'll even help pay for moving, work a lot of those things into the offer.
Do you think your competition's framing it the same way?
No.
No, that's the difference. You're saying this, which is connecting with somebody. It's very human, very personal, very caring, but it also massively solves their problem. And you're destroying your competition in the process because they're just making a bland, flat offer.
Yep. And with the CRM that we have, the drip campaigns, so once we've engaged somebody, they're not quite ready yet. But doesn't mean they're not going to be ready in 3 months or 6 months. So it's hard for us to remember to keep following up, but we have the computer system that does that for us. And
Stay top of mind.
Yeah, keeps it in mind both for you to follow up on and for them to remember who you are, which is important.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a repetition, that's a multiplication factor that's needed in marketing that most people seem to miss.
And we've heard, and we're starting to see it, you don't get the offer, you don't get the contract on the first offer. It might be the third, fourth, or fifth time that you reach out to that person, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm ready now.
Well, that actually happened to one of our deals last year. So I made an offer for this lady's house. It was from my pawn shop lead. And she said, yes, I need you to buy this house. So I made an offer and she's like, oh, I know I could get more. Okay. So she did get another offer from another, I don't know if it was a wholesaler, but in any case, he wasn't able to close. By the time it got like 2 or 3 days before her closing date, she wanted to firm up things and the person was just ghosted her. Then they came back and said, oh, so sorry, we can't buy for this price that we contracted, but we could buy it for this price, which was less than what she wanted, but more than what I wanted. So she didn't want to deal with them. She didn't feel comfortable. So she contacted me and she's like, Laurie, if you could give me this price, I want you to buy my house. So we looked at it, we reviewed, and we're like, yeah, we could do that. And so that's how we were able to get that deal. I saved all of my notes, kept all of my information, was following up with her, because when she rejected my offer, I said, hey, I get it. You got another offer and you're going with the cash. I get it. I said, but if it's okay for me to follow up with you until you close. And she's like, yeah, that's okay. And so I got her permission to do so. She wasn't upset or annoyed that I was checking on her. And so it worked out that she contacted me instead of someone else because I followed up. So
yeah, we had another one that we got that was a bank owned, that I think you put in an offer like 2 or 3 months before we ended up contracting on it. We had somebody look at it. We found that there was some foundation problems, and our offer was way too high once we found that. So we pulled it, and there were many people putting offers in on this and pulling it. And eventually they came down to, hey, we're going to give you this low offer. And it ended up taken. I think we ended up getting it for what, 30,000 less than our original one.
Yeah, it was the end of the year. The bank didn't want to have it on their books and they took my offer. So that worked out.
You got to make the offers and you got to go lower than you think.
Yeah, even when you flinch because of somebody's offer that they are asking, you kind of flinch on your own when you're offering,
Yes.
And like you said, if you don't feel that way, then maybe it's not low enough,
Exactly. You got to be ready for it. Well, let's see. So other than the flinch, I'll ask both of you, what's your favorite negotiation technique that I've taught you?
I like to find out what they want out of the deal, and it may not be money. So we try to come out and see what's their other motivation. And that's what's with this one last week where we were talking, is like, they already have a house. This is just another sale for them, and they might not need $400,000 cash right today. They might be happy going with cash over 15 years.
Yeah.
But we had to ask them that question because there wasn't anything they even thought about.
Well, what I like is your sheet, the negotiation sheet. I really like, there's a lot of questions on there, but they're all needed. All of them are important. And then on the bottom right is you must ask this question. Like, how low can you go? Or what's your lowest number? What do you actually need? Something like that. And it's really great. I think it's a really good it's a really good question to ask. And I still have to kind of time it of when I should ask that. But I think all of those questions are really important because you know what? When I leave somebody's house, I'm just like, oh, I didn't ask that, or oh, I should have asked that. And it's really important to get as much information as you can while you're there because then you can feel confident in the offers that you make.
Yeah, I mean, you take pictures of every room, inside, outside, mechanicals on every visit.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember 10 minutes after you walked out.
They all start to look alike after a while.
Yeah, just like, was there carpet in the bedroom? I don't remember.
Remember?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, it's the same thing.
we don't go to look at them together, but we could compare the pictures together.
Photos. Yeah, you can see a lot. And then, yeah, the deal worksheet, the negotiation sheet lets you not forget things. Make sure you push to ask those questions.
Yes.
And how often are you surprised by the answer? When you push a little bit more and you're kind of asking them, what is your bottom line? Are you surprised at the answer?
Sometimes sometimes they hesitate a lot because they're not really sure how low they can go, I suppose. Maybe I don't know, but sometimes they'll lower their number, but sometimes they won't. So
Yeah.
but you have to ask it because if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah. It's meant to create a degree of awkwardness, a slight discomfort because you're pushing.
It does.
Yeah, just on both sides. Yeah, because if they instantly respond, like they're not going to go any lower, that tells you something of how they responded. If they kind of squish around for a little bit and they're not quite sure, they're uncertain, that tells you something that there's probably a little bit more room to go. And then sometimes you're completely surprised that they just, they fold like a cheap suit and you're going, wow, I'm really glad I asked. So a lot of times it's to gauge the response as much as it is to get the response.
Yeah, and we also use that with our contractors.
Good.
Negotiating technique works
Yeah.
on that side too. It's like, yeah, we could do it for this. I don't, that seems awfully high. What are you going to be putting in like gold inlay in this or something, whatever. And sometimes they'll come back down. They want the job as well.
Yeah. So you're using negotiation to both get prices down when you're buying, push prices up when you're selling, and get your contractors down as well. So kind of always favorable that you make more money.
Yeah. We don't want to completely take food out of somebody else's mouth, but they cushion them up as well. There's room to go on their side. And if you don't ask, they're going to, walk away with more money than you do.
Yeah, I think that's a fear people have, Frank. They look at it and go, I don't want to be taking food out of someone's mouth. Well, you're not. They're not going to say yes to something that takes food out of their mouth. People have a very hard stop, but it's a matter of coming up to that hard stop because that's a fair point. But that's where they want to be. But they'll usually pad and you can get rid of the padding the same way you would pad. That way you have room to come down as well to let them feel like they won. So it's a matter of getting down to what's the real hard finish, but what's the proper line, not the padded line.
Well, also too, like we had said, we purchased this land in Springfield, 2 parcels. And when we were renovating the one house and we were looking for contractors, I said, hey, we're going to be building on the other side. And I really want to use my team from this renovation to build the other side. So if you really do good with your estimate here, then I'd really like to use you on the other side because it would work for both of us. And so I feel that kind of gave me some credibility and it kind of helped with what their offer was. So
yeah, it makes it easy for them too. And to get 2 jobs for 1 client is a dream come true for them also. So just more win-win-win all the way around.
Yeah, and I think your first question whenever you meet somebody is when you walk in the house is, this is a really nice house. Why are you selling it?
yeah.
And all of a sudden they open up about some of the story. It's not a yes, no answer.
Yeah. It's interesting that when you can start with a simple question, hey, it's great, why are you selling? And then some people jump into the details of the house, some people jump into the details of the life, some people jump right into the pity party and the problem. And then it's your job to take it from wherever they start and move it in the same direction to a successful finish, to them saying yes to you. What's the craziest deal you've come across?
Would you say, I don't know if it was Portland with cleaning out all of that nastiness? This was a house that was probably like it was our first house.
Well, first house
The first house that we sold.
second house we bought.
Yeah, we kind of
Okay.
bought in tandem, but in any case, we had actually 3 buildings that we had to clean out. So we had the house, and then we had 2 garages. And there was a piano, a player piano in there that probably was in there since the beginning of.
It was a 1920
The house.
house and it was a 1919 player piano.
Yeah.
We sat in that house the whole time.
So it was hard to get that out. We eventually did get it out. Nobody wanted it. We literally put it on the street corner, and then somebody finally came they were interested in it. But what we had to do was clean out. So there was also people that came through and they wanted to have all of the metal or whatever, right?
Yeah,
The-
scrap metal.
the Scrap metal. So we literally got the dumpster filled. It was filled. We were ready to leave. And these guys came and they're like, oh, hey, do you have metal? Oh, we really want that. And we're like, what? We just filled this entire dumpster. And I said, if you take anything, you put whatever you don't want back, because we just spent hours filling it. So that was probably the craziest thing. They took a lot and they did put it back. And then they went into whatever we didn't finish. And they went into those other buildings and they pulled out
Went
stuff too.
shopping, helped us
So-
clean it out.
Yeah, they actually emptied their trailer and came back and filled it again. So, but anyway, so that was probably one of the things. And the day that the dumpster guys were gonna come and pick it up, I went to make sure that there wasn't anything crazy happening. And it turns out somebody else went in there and was in the dumpster and they threw out stuff. Now these people were, I think they had a food truck. They had a huge freezer full of meat. So they left that, was what they didn't take. So we bagged that up. We're like, well, we're not going to eat any of this. We don't know what it is. So we threw it in plastic bags and we put it in the dumpster. Well, all of that meat, and they were heavy bags. Whoever went in the dumpster the night before the pickup, they just left that out. And it was started to rain when I went back there and I had to put all of it back. So anyway, that was like, we were so glad to get that renovation finished.
Somebody had a big picnic.
Yeah.
I'm always shocked by what people will come and take. It's kind of amazing. There's actually a use for this stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, we tried to, we were in a hurry to get rid of it.
Yeah.
We shopped around a little bit, and when it didn't take, it's like, you know what, I could spend months trying to get a sale on this or just get rid of it. Like pool table, we put an ad out, nobody came and got it. These same guys said, hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can make a quick move, but yeah, you're not in the business of trying to sell everything off piece by piece. That's
But when you advertise or you tell them that it's free as a good price, so then you have a better chance of somebody taking it.
amazing who shows up. Yeah, as long as they cart it off, they can have it. That saves you the hassle and the dumpster space. Well, very good. Fascinating. So if you were roll the clock back again, if you were debating getting trained, like if you were debating joining my Total Traction program and someone's in that position now, what do you say to them?
I would say your program is, targeted and it's affordable and a good value for what you get. We've spent a lot of money on some trainings that we don't use. We look good. The books are out of the wrappers, but we didn't go much further on them. And there's, you just write off as a learning experience, but yours comes regularly. There's reminders that you have set up to come out to keep people engaged in the programs that you have. And I think that's helpful. You're out in person. You're not in our market much in person, but in other markets that people can go see. And you do have the ones on the telephone that you could jump on and get to. And so I like that. Plus, there's a whole bunch recorded if you wanted to just go in and watch it for the education.
Yep, I do like the app and being able to go back and look and review. So I think that's very helpful.
Nice. What would you do different now? You've got a lot of experience now. You've come a long way. What would you do different? What would you tell what advice would you give to somebody and say, hey, avoid this trap. I would do this differently now.
Well, I guess.
You do promote the real estate investment group.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that join your local REIA first, and then you can get the support and the network that you need to be successful. I feel that is really important because that will help you keep focused. And then also you can find out what is most important for starting in that market. But I feel that you're national, Tom, and I think that you are really good at being able to adapt to whatever market there is. I really like the idea that you're old school but new school. I kind of like that because that's how I like to run our business. I don't want to be so automated that you take the human aspect out of it, and I think you're like that too. I do like Deal Machine, and I really like the aspects of that, being able to send the postcard immediately and having it on a drip for like 3 months. Every 21 days I send a postcard. So I really like that. It's convenient, and I like that it's, like I said, a little bit of old school, new school, because you want to be able to reach people how they want to be reached.
Nice. All right. Well, Frank and Laurie Woods, thank you very much. Appreciate your candor and your openness. I think people get a lot out of it, a lot of good lessons in here. I think people should listen to it again, watch it again, because we talked a lot about marketing. We talked a lot about negotiation. We talked a lot about the different deals in their exit strategy and how it all ties together. So thank you both.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Tom.